Hello and welcome to Queerly a Podcast. This is your host, Jacqui. I am redoing this, seeing as my last one was incomprehensible. And upon waking up, I realized I kind of want to do an actual review and analysis of Do Revenge, because I enjoy it, and I feel like there's actual things to talk about. For those who haven't listened before, here, usually my co-host Liz is also on it, and we analyze any queer-related media depictions, as well as those of mental health, and just general related topics, or even sometimes things that we just like, and we attempt to keep it on some sort of schedule. We hopefully will get back to a point of weekly, but right now it looks like bi-weekly is more likely. And so spoilers ahead for Do Revenge. If you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend you watch it. My initial reactions from the trailers were that it wasn't going to be good. I thought it was going to be something a la like Kissing Booth quality, but without the irony, to be able to enjoy it. But it actually turned out to be real fun, so definitely recommend. Alright, getting into it. So, as I think I mentioned last time, the vibe that I get from the actual movie is like a mix of like kind of 90s, early 2000s girl clique movies, like Mean Girls, and I think I still haven't looked it up. I think it's Clueless is the other one. Whichever one that's also about a clique, and there's a girl named Claire, I think. That's like the only thing I remember. But it's similar to those, but with certain changes that I really, really like. And I'll get more into that later. But first, just wanted to mention a few things. There's Sarah Michelle Gellar, who previously played Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the thing I know her most from is her playing Daphne. Yeah, I don't know why I got confused. Daphne in the live-action Scooby-Doo's, the one with Freddie Prinze Jr., who's actually her husband, which is very cute. And with like Seth Green at one point in one of them, I forget. He's in the second one. I enjoyed those movies a lot as a kid. I gotta rewatch them at some point. But where was I going with this? She's in it. She plays the principal in it, and I thought that was real fun. Like, because she was kind of in those types of movies for a little while. I think I wasn't really alive then, so I'm not 100% sure, But yeah, so that was a fun little thing to see. Then you have Maya Hawke as Eleanor, and you have Camila Mendes, though she has said in the past in Portuguese it's Mendes, but in like anglicized it becomes Mendes. So I'll go with the anglicized just because I don't speak any degree of Spanish or Portuguese type language. I can't roll my R's. I blame the French for that. But yeah, so we have those two. She's playing Drea, which I've never heard that as the shortened form of Andrea, so that was interesting to hear. I think it's actually pretty cool, like, nickname. And yeah, so when we get into the film, we start with Drea as still her petty, high school popular kid, mentality of underhanded tactics in order to weaken the image of others to boost her own, which, that's kind of standard stuff. But from there, after a great cameo from Sophie Turner, who you'll recall as Sansa from Game of Thrones, where she's accused of having done cocaine, and has a great little comedic freakout. She basically ends up, her car, I forget what it is, but an element of her car is fucked up, so she, after Eleanor had told her about Sophie Turner's character being one of the ones who actually sent around her. Oh god, I missed a plot point. So, she's dating a guy named Max, who is also a popular kid, and basically she had sent him a nude video. It's weird. So they say it's a video, which is a strange format to send a sext of any sort, in my opinion. But, But she did it. It's not a photo. And that ends up getting leaked around. So, essentially, she has to deal with the aftermath of that. And that includes everyone who sees it, which is the entire high school. So, basically, my Hawk's character, Eleanor, tells her that Sophie Turner's character is the one who leaked the photo to everyone, but when she overhears it in the bathroom. And so they kind of have like a camaraderie from that, though it's not a full-fledged friendship. And so they end up driving home together in Eleanor's car, since something's wrong with Drea. I always keep trying to say Rhea, but it's Drea. Drea's car. And they start developing a friendship from there. We learn that Eleanor is a lesbian, so we have Maya Hawke, once again, playing a lesbian. And for those who don't know what context I'm talking about, it's in Stranger Things. She also was playing a lesbian, or is still. And I think she's getting typecast as a lesbian, but it also makes sense. To some degree, it's kind of funny. Also, and I'm not trying to be weird. I'm a year or two younger than her, but yeah, I can see that. And there's definite elements to her look and her style. The shorter, she always has shorter hair and wears kind of more comfortable clothing and more, I guess, masculine styled clothing, if that makes sense. But no, yeah, and she of course does a good job. And so, yeah, we learned about that. We learned that she had been outed, that part she didn't really care about, which I think is actually really good. And rather, she cared about and got upset about the fact that the person had claimed that she tried to kiss them, and hold them down, basically like a predator, hold them down and force herself on them, which she did. And so I really like that. It isn't focused on the outing, and that's not the big deal. But the big deal is, again, how she was portrayed. That could happen to any character, regardless of sexual orientation, So I like that change from the normal, early 2000s style. And I think this is kind of getting ahead of myself in terms of plot. But I think that Eleanor is a good play on the character Janice from Mean Girls. If you remember, Janice is the orchestrator of the whole plot for Mean Girls, and getting revenge on Regina George. And she also is there are a bunch of jokes about her being a lesbian and fervently denying it, but also early 2000s where just saying gay is a whole joke type mentality is there. But Janice in that, she becomes as vindictive as Regina George. She is a bitch. She becomes the mean girl. But she never... she has this one line where she says, oh, Regina, at least Regina and I know we're horrible people, but you, Katie, you pretend... Or Katie, sorry. You, Katie, you pretend to be all innocent when really you're just a bitch. Or something along those lines. And sure, she's acknowledging she's a bad person, but she's not really acknowledging the amount of damage she's done and had Katie carry out, and how manipulative she's been. And so I think that, because Eleanor later on, so this is again spoilers, I'm kind of going off course of the plot now, but later on we learn that Eleanor is actually, she was accused of all this stuff by Drea back at day camp, which Drea doesn't even remember until much, much later on, probably in the last, 20 to 30 minutes. She's reminded by the person she had thought, who Eleanor had claimed was the one who did this to her, but was really just an ex who wasn't there for her when that all went down. But she learns about that. She realizes she's been manipulated throughout the whole movie, which is a plot twist I did not see coming. It's actually really good. They planned it well. There's one line, and I mentioned this in the previous thing, but there's one line where Drea's trying to coach Eleanor on getting manipulating Max, essentially, and says the thing with narcissists is they're too focused on themselves to realize that they're being played. And Eleanor gives her a look at that after she says that, and because of how it's done, you would assume, with what you know at the time in the film, that it's more of just Eleanor kind of being either judgmental or disgusted or kind of confused by this sentiment. And I had thought initially that she thought it was all ridiculous, and the fact that that Drea was part of that was stupid, seeing as she was previously a popular person. But in reality, she was reflecting on the fact that, yeah, this is true because I am playing you and you are an idiot. Which I thought was really good. They also, so going back to what's actually happening in the plot at the time, they also have it where, with Eleanor, after doing everything she's done, she talks about how she thought she'd feel better, but really she just ends up feeling empty inside. Which I think, yeah, is a good commentary on, all this petty bullshit, not really doing anything, not really making you feel any better, But, yeah, so, again, good role reversal, Janice. And she also really acknowledges what she's been doing, rather than just saying, oh, I'm a bad person. It's, oh, I did all this stuff. I was starting to become her friend. I did all this stuff, and I, finally, at the end, she admits, I regret it all. I'm so sorry. Which, yeah, I think is, again, good critique of Janice. Sorry for any weird pauses right now. I like the Women in Gaming video. I'm playing a video game while I'm recording it, in an effort to help get my thoughts out, because ADHD. But so we were going over Eleanor, blah. So, actually, I guess with the plot twists, so that one we already went over. The second plot twist is that Max, the ex-boyfriend, had been manipulating Drea the whole time, had basically been trying to take her down using that new video, which is still a weird concept to me. The idea of a nude video instead of, a photo of a nude. But yeah, so basically he has orchestrated this whole plan to keep his popularity, and basically his reasoning is a little weird to me. That he has this whole speech about how the type of people he and Drea are, if they met their clones, instead of being elated, they'd try to kill the other as fast as they can. Or kill the clone, I mean. So, I don't fully get what they're going for there. But, yeah. I mean, again, it's a plot twist that makes sense. All the groundwork is there. So, I can at least enjoy that. Because, yeah, he's been, feigning innocence the whole time, and we're talking about how he has been, doing performative activism and stuff. Yeah, it just makes sense. I like that they make a twist that actually connects to the rest of the story, and, has groundwork in the rest of the story, Because you don't see that a lot, to be honest. You usually just see, last minute clues that allude to something that's wrong or double crossing or whatever. It's almost never like actually well laid out. Or at least from my experience, it's almost never well laid out. But yeah, so kudos to the movie. So that's the other plot twist, which that one I didn't see coming. It was like I could see that happening, but I didn't know if it was actually going to happen. But it's well developed. Okay, where else? I really love the music choices again. All of these like specific time period movies, which this one is. It's very much like an homage to the 90s and early 2000s, or late 90s, early 2000s. I'd say not pre 9/11, but like like the lighter stuff of that era. The not post 9/11 angst side of that era. But in its style, like the clothing everyone wears and the sets and stuff, you can see the 90s influence. Like, it's definitely an homage to it. You have this, like, kind of brighter pastel coloring on all of the clothing. You have the more, like, sheer, basically useless as clothing fabric that they will layer over other stuff. Well, I guess... So, like, with Eleanor being a lesbian, the 90s lesbian tomboy style, I feel like that is still a style within, like, the queer sphere, so maybe that's less 90s? I don't know. It's a little hard to tell. And with the sets, like, I don't know what it is, but it feels like that, like, early 2000s. I think because of those, like, bright pastel colors on the furniture, but also there's something about, like, the actual structure of the furniture. I don't know a lot about, like, furniture design. Like, I know more about architecture, which with that film I don't think the architecture was indicative of a certain time period, which makes sense. I don't think it was meant to be, and also, like, architecture usually lasts a bit longer, especially, like, at this point where we're only, 30 years off, so usually you can last, like, a good 100 or few hundred years even. But, yeah, there's a lot of... I like that. As somebody who was alive, like, I wasn't fully conscious because I was a baby, was alive during, like, early 2000s, and also has siblings from the 90s themselves. I found it real fun. Found it super fun. And then the music, too. The music is great. It really captures that mood real well, which is real fun. So you have, like, the Mighty Boss Stones, you have that one song that's in all of the trailers, which has now gotten stuck in my head and is on my playlist. Hodgepodge of a playlist. I originally called it Alt Chill. Now it's literally anything I like. So there's that. But yeah, no, that song's real good. It's called Dumb. I think it's just called, like, Dum Dum. But you'll, like, know what song I'm talking about if you've seen any of those trailers. Oh, Flagpole Sitta, which is always a good song. I love that song. It's great. It's like tub thumping in a way. It's just like a good, I mean, I guess maybe like late night drive when you need some motivation type song. But yeah, so they have Flag Sitta. Well, I guess that one's less of a motivation song. I just view it in that way because I've heard it late at night on, like, driving home from work, I think. And they have some other songs. I'm trying to remember what other ones they have, and I can't, but they're all good. So yeah, that's what matters. And then also just like the live when the manipulation is revealed, I thought was really well done because they have it again, as I said, the X reveals that Dre is the one who did all of this to Eleanor, and they use the subtitle said the song was called, like, it was something having to do with lies, but it was actually a real good song for it. It was kind of like that early 2000s rock vibe, which I love that shit. But yeah, the way that they cut certain things to like create a montage that really like shows the seeds that were set without feeling too like handholdy was impressive. So that's that's that. As you can tell, I don't have a script for this. Uh, I liked a lot of the cinematography, honestly. I didn't expect a movie like that to have, like, interesting cinematography in any way, just because generally you don't see that with more comedic films. But, yeah, it did. It had some, like, interesting shots. It had some real fun, like, transition bits and framing. Yeah, generally I like that. Same, the editing was real snappy and good. It, like, helped the tone a lot for more comedic bits. It also helped for setting specific. They did a really good job with montages, honestly. I'm kind of impressed, because I feel like montages are something you can easily fuck up, just because they are done so often and they can end up being used more as a crutch, which isn't good. But the way they did it here is super fun. Like, the montage of them getting all this information and manipulation on Max is real fun. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. But, yeah, so that's that. The acting, of course, is really good. Camille Mendes does a great job as always, and so does Maya Hawke, of course. I think the guy who plays Max is from he's from Euphoria, I think. I'm pretty sure he's from Euphoria, which is funny and strange because the tones are so different. He's really good in it. I thought he was real funny. Shit. What was I going on about besides the movie? It was elements of the movie, I know that. Honestly, I'm happy to see Camille Mendes in something that's not Riverdale. Because she is a really good actress. She's really funny. She's got great comedic timing. Like, she deserves better work outside of that. Most of those actors do, to be honest. You know. But, yeah, so that's acting. The writing is really good. I gotta say, the writing is really fun and witty. There are a lot of great lines, and again, those seeds of the plot twist later on are great. And I enjoy the resolution. I do enjoy the resolution of at the very end, after Eleanor hits hits Drea with a fucking car. She actually like she says she like feels empty after all this, and she does wish things were different because she was becoming friends with Eleanor, and eventually they kind of it's the tone makes it work a lot, this bit, but eventually they do become friends once again after realizing the larger evil is Max, and also that they do care about each other. They're friends. They're really close friends. They have been for about a year during all of this plotting. And yeah, I think that's sweet. I think that like all of the girls who were in the popular group as well, they basically come together and gang up on Max, which, you know, again, like any girl media where it promotes coming together rather than like differences, I think is worthy of some praise. So there's that. They get some good revenge for sure. Yeah. What else? Do I have anything else? That's the question. That's the real question of the century. It's one I don't often know the answer to. Going back to the depiction of Eleanor as like gay. Another thing that I really like, because I was getting worried about it, they have Eleanor, when they're manipulating Max initially, Eleanor basically has to act like somebody who he'd be interested in, and like, so they have her like get a makeover, which they acknowledge is problematic, but super fun for Drea to do. But after they do a makeover, they have her act like and I think this is the wording, a rich cunt, which is great. She basically, she has to attract the attention of Max. She has to get in his circle, and he is attracted to her and, like, basically sees her as a potential girlfriend or fling or something. And I was getting worried initially that it was going to be one of these plots where, like the plot of the film, not whatever is going on, The plot would do it where she got close to him, and then he tried to be intimate with her, and she'd been put in a very uncomfortable position, and then have to reveal herself, reveal her hand, or basically be extremely embarrassed and uncomfortable. And that would ruin the plot and throw a wrench in things. But they didn't do that, which I'm very thankful for. I like that Eleanor enjoys the friendship and stuff she's being given by the popular kids, including Max. And it never gets to a point of, he never pressures her for anything. He acts like a dick to his, girlfriend, saying, why are you talking about my ex? We're gonna have sex, blah, blah, blah. And, she leaves him. He doesn't do anything that's, dubious consent-wise, Or, it's not Euphoria. It's not, you need to deal with that in this type of film with this tone. Which is good. Rather, she just stays with that group because she enjoys the vibe. She enjoys the friendship itself because she's no longer getting that from Drea, who has become completely obsessive with the revenge plot. I liked that a lot. And then again, the whole being out thing was never an issue. She's openly out. And then she joins the school that Dre is at. So she's completely new. So her not publicly outing herself at that point is less of her fear of people's reactions and more of just trying to get this revenge to work, But even then, she is able to befriend and get a lot of good flirting in with Max's sister, who also that that good old 90s to current lesbian look of tomboyism. It's great. She is a good actress. She pulls that off real well, too. If you can't tell, I like that look a lot. I also kind of use it to some degree, though not as much as others. Honestly, it's kind of hard when you don't live in a constantly warm place as well, because a lot of it involves constant shorts and then very light flannel, or not flannels, very light, I guess, yeah, not flannel, but you know what I mean, that type of stuff. Very light short sleeve button up shirts and either sports bra or short crop top, tank top type deal. So you need warm weather or else you're kind of fucked. And I live in the Northeast, so I only get that pleasure for a few months a year. But it's a good look. And in this case, they are in they're in California, I think, so it works out. What was I going on about? Oh yeah, I was going on about that. It's it's made clear, and they don't ever have to go through the rigmarole of, oh, you're, are you gay? Oh, I'm gay too. Oh, look at that. They don't go through that. Once one starts flirting, the other starts flirting, and they get it. I like that. You don't have to wear the shit. You don't have to use the weared and tired tires. You can just replace them with a new set. That analogy went downhill really fast, language-wise, and my ability to say it wise. I'm kind of sad how that turned out. But I'm multitasking. It's not always the easiest. Alright, well, that's gonna be about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, stay healthy, stay safe. I can't say those words, Jesus. If it is daytime, have a good day. If it's nighttime, have a good night. You can, as always, get in contact with us, or just to know actually when we're gonna drop, or when we are dropping episodes, seeing as our schedule is so fucked. You can follow us on Twitter at queerly_podcast. We post little updates there, as well as when episodes drop. Sorry for this very low quality mic stuff. I messed up saying the actual address of our own website, so that's fun. So you can visit our website at www.queerlyapodcast.com. And on there you can see future episode topics. You can also see things like recommended media list, which I need to update quite a bit. You can also get in contact with us. We have a little form, and suggest things like media to cover, or even just let us know what you think of audio quality or quality of the podcast itself, what we can fix, what we can better ourselves on. I know organization is one. And just any little comments you have, honestly. We are very open and happy to have them, regardless of content, really. So yeah, you can also listen to new episodes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can listen to them on Deezer, which I never heard of until starting this, so I don't know how many of you have heard of it. Or you can just listen directly from our RSS website link. At rss.com/queerly. There you'll also find links to all of our other information and our other websites. And I believe that is about it. Oh, we're also on Spotify. That I feel like is important to say. And let's see, besides that, is there anything? I don't think so. Alright, well, again, stay happy, stay safe, and have a good one, y'all. And we'll see you next time for hopefully the quote-unquote season finale, which is just for organizational purposes and not because we're going to be taking a break longer than the ones we have been known to take. But yeah, so that episode is going to be on Arcane, the series. Because that one I've been wanting to talk about for so long. It's real good. I'd say if you want to listen to that one, definitely watch ahead of time. It's on Netflix. It is a bit of a time sink, I will say, just from the fact that it is 9 episodes, and each episode's about like an hour long. So it does take some time to watch, but I definitely recommend it. It's real good. Alright, we'll see you next time. Low audio quality editing Jacqui here. Apparently I had a really hard time saying words, so I thought I'd just share this little clip of me attempting to say 3 letters and struggling. Or just starts, which is fuck me.